They put a bucket out, and a bunch of comedians put their names in the bucket. They do a minute of comedy, which is really, I mean, talk about pressure situation. They do a minute of comedy, and then they have some of these more experienced comedians kind of critique them on what they did, because I thought, and some people come out and actually just murder it. And so you could see the different levels that people are at. I just think it's pretty interesting. I thought it was really cool. It was actually like a great way to do like a comedy class without having been a comedy class. You know what I mean? And by the way, the voice you're hearing right now, just in case she keeps chiming in here like that's right, is my friend Melanie Baldonado, who was one of the comedians who went up on Tony Hinchcliffe's podcast, Kill Tony. And, you guys did a minute, and if I have a confession to make, because I realized there was 38 people out there. I mean, they had a record number of people put their name in the bucket to do it. I come in, I see you sitting there, I go, and I look around the room, and there was some craziness going on, and so I'm gonna admit it, I pulled the name out, and it didn't say Melanie Baldonado, but I called you up anyway. Just because I know how tough it is to do stand up in this scenario. But I don't go by the Comedy Store on a Monday night. I mean, I used to back in the day, and I have a great affection for the Comedy Store, because that's where I started. That's where I worked the door. That's really, if anybody, I mean, that's really my home club. I mean, other clubs have claimed me in the meantime because I lived in Florida, but the Comedy Store really is my home. It's like my college. It's where I considered, like, when I worked there, it was like going to college for comedy. Because, you can watch all the best comedians. You can watch some bad comedians and learn a lot about it. But, man, Monday night there it's like a fucking insane asylum. They shut down it's like it becomes an insane asylum from one night a week. I mean, look, I didn't realize there was that many comedians out there trying to get on there and do that. I mean, it's fucking crazy. And the thing is, I realize, I think these people are doing it because they think it's fucking easy. Right. I think if you could flash forward and show these people, like, 20 years later, I mean, I don't even think half these kids would be doing it, how difficult it is. I mean, it's interesting because on the surface, it looks easy, but it is an incredibly difficult thing to do, and it's an incredibly difficult thing to make a living doing. So I was just, I was amazed at how many people were hanging out just to get a minute of stage time. And then, while we're doing the podcast, this woman comes up and flashes her tits, like, out of nowhere. She said, "My name's Crazy," and of course, it's dude heavy up there. There's a room full of dudes. No one's going to tell her not to flash her breasts.
Right.
Okay.
But she offers to flash her breasts for a minute of stage time.
Yes.
Like 1 minute.
That's how tough stage time is to get here in Los Angeles.
Totally. And of course they're going to say, yeah. Of course you are. I mean, there were some girls that were saying no, whatever. But whatever the case is, you knew it was going to happen. I would have had more respect if she actually told a joke. If you actually,
no,
but she didn't.
No, well, she said, "My name's Crazy." I mean, she was literally, here's the sad thing, really. Not that she showed her tits, because who doesn't love tits? Women love tits, men love tits. A woman has nice tits when another woman goes, "Wow, look at those tits." You know what I mean? We're talking about breasts here, okay? It's not right. But those were not the greatest set of tits. Those
they were not bad looking.
No, but they weren't like a minute. They weren't minute tits.
They weren't minute worthy?
They weren't minute worthy tits. They were 30-second tits. Like, you could come up, but I mean, she was absolute. There was no, other than flashing her tits, there was no game plan. I mean, she had no job. But afterwards, I saw some of the video the dudes posted later on as she spiraled out of control. And the thing that's really sad is this girl should be on some sort of medication, because obviously she was bipolar, having an episode. I mean, I always look past that, beyond that, because either she was on drugs, not medicinal drugs, but she's out there on Sunset. Just fucking batshit fucking crazy. But I don't mind that kind of batshit crazy. I mean, she's not taking a gun, run through a fucking shopping mall. So I don't mind if you're batshit crazy, fucking showing your tits at people, beats pulling out a fucking handgun and wasting about 15, 20 people. But she was, there's something seriously fucking wrong with that woman. And you were outside when I was walking to my car, and the woman accosted me, basically grabbed me and locked her arms around me, like, and I'm going, "Hey, let me go. I said, listen, crazy lady, let me go before I fucking headbutt you. All right, I'm not a guy, but I knew what I was dealing with. I mean, this woman is. I mean, you had to feel like she had like daddy issues for sure. I don't want to go down the list of all the psychosis that this woman had. But I mean, I'm like, you know, and I understand, you know, I like see like David tells like that with some of those crazy fans. I mean, you know, and it's kind of merited, you know, like some people like just like because they're so familiar with you, they think they know you, and you don't, you know, that's kind of like my, you know, they always say the guy, you know, I read Steve Martin's book, and he talks about there's Steve Martin, the public persona, and then there's the guy inside of Steve Martin operating the public persona. It doesn't translate. It's not the same dude. And you know, when you live your life like that and you open like that and you've given up all that stuff, there's some things that you want to hold on to. And I happen to be a little bit of a problem. I just thought it was beyond. I mean, I actually you were there. You saw it. You
totally saw it. But what her invitation was, hey, come here, Jimmy, come into my office.
Yeah.
Okay, like she has an office. She doesn't have an office. She has an Uber parked outside right next to the Comedy Store with 3 guys in it. I don't know if she's selling herself, if she has, like, what's going on in that office of hers? Yeah. Like, not anything good.
Not anything good. And you know, I got from Philly, man. My spidey sense was tingling. You know, I ain't gonna go sit in a freaking Uber. It was like a sedan. You know, next thing you know, you're wrapped in plastic, and they're dumping you as they go around a corner in front of a police station.
They got your liver and your kidney. It's done.
They got your liver and your kidney, and you're done.
Of course, it's Jimmy Shubert, so they give it right back.
yeah, that's exactly right. Actually, say, you know, you see me go in the Suburban, and then you pull around the corner, and 4 bodies come out of it, and I'm the one driving it. I mean, that's the kind of situation you were dealing with, because I will shank you, I will snap your neck. Like I got like I'm not kidding you, man. I do not do well in those situations. I will snap, and I'll go dark. I'll go 0 dark 30 on your ass. You know what I'm saying? And but anyway, I just it was fucking insane. It was insane. And look, you know, you're out there on the circuit, Melanie, right?
Right.
So what is that like? First off, you're an attractive woman. I mean, you must deal with this. To go to that. I mean, there are so many broken people, and I mean, you know, as a rule, I think some comedians are like kind of broken on the inside, and the stand-up is a way to kind of allow yourself some kind of therapy to fix that. You know, it allows you to kind of but man, I mean, there are some broken fucking people out there.
There definitely are. And
you have to navigate that because you're just trying to become a comedian, you know?
Without a doubt. You have to navigate that. You have to go onto Facebook. You have 5 invites from these guys who saw you on stage, or maybe they went to one open mic. They want to know your whole history of comedy. It's like, you know, it's in a bio. Like all the reasons are in the bio on my Facebook page. Why are you asking me questions? They're asking you out in the second, just the hello. It's just not... I don't know what is going on in the world. I think there are a lot of lonely people, and they're sad, and they come to the Comedy Store because maybe they want to laugh or they want to create laughs. The point is, like, some people are there trying to work and do better and not really, I don't know, shack up with some stranger.
Well,
that's
you
not
know,
me.
but I understand that. But but some people. But that's why I say, like, I think if people realize the art of stand-up, you realize how difficult it is. But I mean, there are some cats out there that are doing it because you know, they get to hang out late at night and do sets and try to get laid and run a fucking bar tab. I mean, to them, there's nothing beyond that, really.
Right.
But I'm sure you run into that. But I mean, you've done spots here now. You know, we've covered this. I had Allie Breen on, who's kind of like, you know, maybe a couple levels above you. She's working with, you know, Jim Norton. She does, but also, you know, there's and other people that are, you know, at different levels. You know, and you're kind of on that kind of entry level. I mean, I've seen you do stand up. I think you're. Funny enough, I mean, you're not. I wouldn't say you're an open micer, but you do the mics here because you get the stage time. But you're at that level. I mean, how difficult is that?
I think I have some difficulty when I go out of town and I've been brought up to things like, if this next comic doesn't make it in comedy, she'll be perfect in porn. Like, I mean, you have to face an audience after that. So there is some like unsensitive things going on. And I mean, as a female, it's rough. But the open mic circuit, I think I learned very early that there are a lot of people who just need somebody to look at them. And it's sad. You have to sit through that for a little while. Thank God I don't do that a whole lot anymore. Thank God I get invited to do shows. And I'd rather do a show in a noisy bar now than have to sit through some guy delving his hate of women onto me, or his hate of his mom or his dad or his life. I have no idea what happens there.
Yeah,
you don't want to go there. Let's just say that.
Well, no, it's a fine line. It's a fine line between letting your unkept mental hygiene spill out over onto other people and affect them. I mean, you don't want to live your life like that. I mean, I've talked about this as some people don't have the skill sets to actually do their own mental hygiene.
Right.
But I've always thought that you run into a tremendous amount of that here. I see it more out here than I've seen it anywhere. I mean, people are like fucking needy. I go, hey, listen, we're just fucking hanging out here. I don't need you to. It's just weird. I find it more in Los Angeles more than anywhere else. I mean, it's funny. It's like, I guess it's the king and queen of every high school prom in America move out here to pursue this dream. And you're right. And sometimes it does. They come out here with all these stars in their eyes, and look 3 or 4 years later, a girl who came out here with, aspirations winds up doing porn. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. Not for you, but I mean, obviously, you come from good stock. You're good people. But I know. It just blows my mind. I mean, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I was getting the fucking willies, and I don't get the fucking willies a lot. And then that woman has an episode out front. She's literally fucking getting naked on the fucking sidewalk in the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard, and all these fucking lunatics are fucking Tommy, the talent coordinator from the Comedy Store, had to physically remove her from the fucking building. And I mean, in that fucking 3-minute encounter I had with this woman, I could tell that this woman is having a fucking psychotic fucking break. I didn't want to be around it, but I mean, more than, you'd think that, like, and obviously there's no talking any sense to her at that point, but it's like, and she's out there stripping down on the fucking sidewalk in her bra and fucking panties, and dudes are videotaping and posting on Facebook. I mean, that's the world that's the world we live in now, unfortunately. She's out there with a fucking GoPro having a fucking psychotic episode.
Uber.
I mean, yeah. It's like, strap a fucking GoPro on that fucking. She's driving an Uber, fucking strap a GoPro on that fucking, see what it's like to have a psychotic episode from the inside out. I don't know. Crazy, right?
It's horrible.
So,
it's for $10 too.
Yeah, well, they all want to do, but she was out there trying to fucking, why would you fucking go to the Comedy Store?
Why? On a Monday night when it's the night of the people who haven't quite made it yet.
Well, that's
Thursday night.
Yeah, but that's what people think. That's what Kanye West said at a fucking concert recently. Some chick at a concert, like a Kanye West concert, goes, bitch, I guess she was heckling, going, I ain't no comedian, bitch. Like, oh, whoa, Kanye motherfucking West, motherfucker. Yeah, I got news for you. You don't fucking heckle comedians. If someone was heckling you, I mean, you're supposed to be a fucking professional. God damn it, you're a fucking singer and songwriter. A guy stops mid-show because one woman was like yelling. Maybe she was, I mean, how could you tell in a crowd like that where you're doing music that she was disapprovingly of his set? I mean, you're talking about, I mean, obviously this guy does 5,000-6,000 seat fucking arenas that and he stops his show to deal with this one fucking heckler. I mean, that's different in a comedy club. And first off, you ain't supposed to fucking heckle comedians.
No.
You're not. I mean, it's like pissing in fucking Rembrandt's paints, But it goes into that thing, like people think it's okay, you're supposed to. I go, no, motherfucker, shut up. Shut your goddamn mouth before I show up at your job and fucking start heckling you and see how you fucking like it. It drives me insane. And that's why I demolish hecklers as soon as they start. It's like, no, let me fucking re-educate you here, okay? We're not a Chuck E. Cheese, all right? So let's get back to you because you're my guest and more people want to fucking hear about what's going on in your world than in my world. Now, what do you got coming on? You doing a lot of shows around town?
Yeah, I have, I have Burbank on Monday it's called The Park, and then I have coming up January the 2nd, Laguna Beach. I should really memorize these things before I come up. I have Laguna Beach with J. Chris Newberg, so I'm excited about that. I
like Jay.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a very smart, little witty guy.
Yeah, he is. I follow him on Twitter. He does a lot of funny stuff. And then you do, how many mics do you do a week? How many open mics do you do?
I have dropped it down to 5. 5 tops, and then other than that, I'll book shows again, whether it's at a bar or whether it's at Flappers.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I don't get that.
5
the
tops.
Whole fucking bringer thing fucking drives me crazy. I mean, you would think in a market, it's like watching the news. Right. Like you watch the news in Los Angeles, and it fucking drives me crazy. Going in a town that has so many fucking talented people, this is the best thing you could put forward. I mean, nobody gives a fuck about Bennifer or Jennifer. I mean, any of that shit. And
isn't Tila Tequila the new thing? I don't even know what's going on with that chick, but that's what I feel like everyone's tweeting them. Like, is that? I mean, who's orchestrating this thing?
Now, how did you get into comedy? Let me ask you that. I mean, how does somebody like you? I mean, obviously you're college educated. You know, where did you go in?
The University of Kentucky.
University of Kentucky. Now you're from out here. You grew up out here. You grew up out here. And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
5.
You got 5 brothers and sisters. So there's 6 of you all together.
There's 4, including me.
Okay, 4. So there's 5 of you all together.
5
So you grew up in a big family. And where are you in the lineup?
I'm number 2.
You're number 2.
I'm the oldest girl.
You're the oldest girl. Now, what was it that drove you to the stand-up comedy stage?
I was writing sketch for fun. Just like in my spare time, I had a lot of spare time at work in Malibu. And at some point I thought, you know what, I don't want to work in medical sales. I don't want to do what my girlfriends are doing. I'd rather work at something that I like. And that's what I did for fun. So I was thinking maybe I'll try to write for Saturday Night Live. And of course, that's the big thing. So how do you get there? And I talked to someone who was a writer, and he said, you know what, you'd have better luck if you can get on stage and be funny. And what ended up happening was my first set ever was at that Monday night Comedy Store open mic, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Somebody called to get me that spot, which I wouldn't have had. First time among comics who are 3.5 years in. I mean, it's the Comedy Store, like you said, it's kind of the big deal. And I was eating it until the very last 30 seconds when I started to get laughs. And once I started to get laughs, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing. I drop everything. This is my calling. I don't know how I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
And and then I just kind of hit the ground running from there. So that was like 3.5 years ago.
So you didn't do well till the last 30 seconds, but that last 30 seconds was enough to get its hooks in you and pursue that.
Definitely.
And what are your goals? I mean, you know, because I know a lot of comics. Some guys want to be great comedians and that leads to a career in writing or a career in acting or, you know, a career in directing, like Mike Binder. I mean, you know, Craig T. Nelson. A lot of these guys all started doing stand-up comedy that have spun out into completely other avenues. What is your big goal?
My comedy idol is Carol Burnett.
Love
so
Carol
I
Burnett.
think it would be so awesome to bring back a sort of show that's sketch, maybe a little bit of improv, but definitely showcases stand-up as well. I think that the art form of comedy is amazing. I'm a student at Second City. I made
I was going to go into that next. So you're a student at Second City.
I made it into the Conservatory, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah, it's great. Really tough to get into.
Yeah.
And also great training. I mean, it's great training. I mean, I think that also spills over into your stand-up as well.
Right.
You know, so how tough was it to get into the Conservatory at Second City?
You have to audition, and you audition among like many people that have done Improv 1, 2, 3 there, and then people from all over, other improv schools, other very talented imitation sort of people. I mean, just amazing people. I don't know what the numbers were, but I knew that there were only, I think, like 50 spots.
Wow. Where can people find you? It's Mel B Comedy at Twitter at Mel B Comedy. Do you have a website?
Not yet. Mike Casatini is going to be doing it for me. Don't.
Okay. No, I'm just
Hook
saying.
up from Jimmy. I know. Jimmy's judging. I can feel it.
I'm not judging,
your
man.
amygdala
I'm
went
not
off.
judging, man. I'm just saying perception is reality. You need to if someone Googles Melanie Baldonado, they need to figure out where they can find you. It's a big deal.
Twitter. I know.
Awesome. So I know you can only stay with us a little while. What else do you got going on? Do you want to promote before we take a little breather here? And
I think that's it. And then I look for my website in the next 2 weeks. I'll promote that.
now what is it going to be? melbcomedy.com?
Melanie Baldonado Comedy.
Melanie Baldonado Comedy. Well, we'll tweet it up by the time this drops. We'll figure it out. Well, thank you for being a guest on my podcast.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, cool, man. All right, we'll be right back after this message.